Good morning, and welcome to the November 13th, 2002 Sunday morning live in-person and streaming service with the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee. I'm really glad that all of you have made it out here this morning through the ice and the snow and the cold weather, and you at home that are joining us there. It's wonderful to have you all here and to be a part of belong to this wonderful community. And so we have some great things happening for you this morning. I'm Rev Pam Brandman, the senior minister here of the center. And we'd like and I want you to know that whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. There's many paths to God and to the one. And we recognize that they all end in oneness and in love. We're grateful that each of you is here today. We start out with our receptivity statement that you can read along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So we remember that our center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. And that's a lot about what we're going to be talking about today in many different ways. So our musician today is Colleen Akiko, and Colleen is sharing 3 of her original songs with us this morning, and they are a real treasure trove. They come deep from with her heart and her experience. She shared with me that she's been writing some new songs as well and recording them for a new album. So it takes a while to get that all done and put to recorded. So I don't think it's coming out next week, but we'll all be patiently and anxiously waiting. But this morning, help me welcome Colleen Akiko.
So good to be here. You know, we're going to start at the very center. And I invite you in this song to just focus on that spark, that divine spark within us all. And I find that as I really feel into that spark and see it and experience and behold and embrace its brilliance and its love, that I am able to do that, to see and behold that divine spark in others, in all things. Find the center spark deep inside your heart, shining like a star through the darkest night. Find your center spark, feel the love you are. See the truth, free your heart. Be the center spark. How long have you felt lost and tossed in fear? Come home. Peace lives right here. Joy lives right here. I am right here. In your center spark, deep inside your heart, shining like a star through the darkest night. In your center spark, you feel the love you are. See the truth, free your heart. Be the center spark. See the truth. Free your heart. Be the center spark.
Thus, to our practitioner this morning, and that is Carol Dalbon. And Carol this morning got to use her practitioner consciousness from the beginning. This was one of these mornings when everything, Murphy's Law was well in practice, but Carol kept calmly, patiently kept the consciousness and knowing that it would all work out. And here we all are, including Carol, here to give us our special reading and our invocation. Carol? She's coming from Sacramento, so she's got here she is.
The theme for the month is Living Everyday Wonder, Home, and the top title is Roots and Wings. And I will be reading from a book by Brene Brown called Braving the Wilderness. And I'm doing this off my phone because I couldn't get this printer to work. Belonging, is the innate human desire to be part of something larger than us. Because this yearning is so primal, we often try to acquire it by fitting in and by seeking approval, which are not only hollow substitutes for belonging, but often barriers to it. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. This definition has withstood the test of time as well as the emergence of new data, but it is incomplete. There's much more to true belonging. Being ourselves alone, means sometimes having to find the courage to stand alone, totally alone. Even as I wrote this, I still thought of belonging as requiring something external to us, but needing experience that always involved others. So as I dug deeper into true belonging, it became clear that it is not something we achieve or accomplish with others. It's something we carry in our heart once we belong thoroughly to ourselves and believe thoroughly in ourselves. True belonging is ours. Excuse me. Belonging to ourselves means being called to stand alone, to brave the wilderness of uncertainty, vulnerability, and criticism. And with the world feeling like a political and ideological combat zone, this is remarkably tough. We seem to have forgotten that even when we're utterly alone, reluctant to choose between being loyal to ourselves, but lacking that deeper spiritual connection to a larger humanity gives people more freedom to express their individuality without fear of jeopardizing belonging. This is the spirit which now seems missing, of saying, yes, we are different in many ways, but under it all, we're deeply connected. Spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to one another is grounded in love and compassion. Excuse me for the chopped up reading, but it's from different pages of the book. And so now we start off the morning with an opening prayer. So get comfortable in your seats. And we had a short meditation today, but hopefully that feeling will stay with you. I feel that I have a connection with this spirit, all inclusive, everywhere present, and that it is deep within. It is part of me. And I see this in others whom I meet, and also in nature. The beauty of nature is God's creation. I know I am whole and created as perfect and complete the way I am, and I can see that expressing by my true self to the world benefits me and others and my relationships. I see similarities, others who've had similar experiences, and this makes a connection to everyone. And as I remind myself to love myself, I can then help others. As I live day to day with the infinite spirit urging me to express in many ways, because I can become vulnerable and authentic, and it brings me closer to others. And I am open to others ultimately having similar experiences, I see, and I'm not alone. And I feel that others are opening to their own expressions also. I give thanks now for all of this in my expressions, allowing God to live through me and express as me and as others in this center do. I give thanks, knowing this is the truth of everybody here. And so it is.
And so it is. All right, Colleen. I think we have Colleen for a wonderful song that leads into my talk today. It's not on. It's not on.
One, two. Are we on now? Oh, there we go. So, I'm just remembering that some people who have a hard time calling God Father, and even Mother, Father, God. We have a dear friend and others who call God grandfather. I like that. And grandmother. And, my grandma and grandpa kind of parented me quite a bit growing up and even into adulthood. And no matter how badly I screwed up, my grandma always had this sparkle of love in her eyes. And she still does, no matter how badly I screw up. And I don't know if you've had anybody in your life who, when you go to visit them, an aunt, a grandparent, a neighbor, but as soon as you come into their house, they want to get you something. And my grandma was like that in many ways. So here's to all the grandmas and the grandma-like people in our life who really impart to us that feeling of home. And if it's not a person, we also always have our Creator, great mystery, the source of all, loving us just like a grandma with a sparkle in her eyes. Grandmother's cupboard is never ever bare. Even when she's hungry, she'll find something for me there. She got a heart that cares with dreams and prayers, all waiting there inside. Oh, but nothing warms me like the sunshine I see in Grandma's eyes. She's a country lady. She lives along the nature road. When the city gets to me, I know where I need to go. Grandmother's cupboard is never ever bare. Even when she's hungry, she'll find something for me there. She got a heart that cares with dreams and prayers, all waiting there inside. Oh, but nothing warms me like the sunshine I see in Grandma's eyes. She knows every high and low of walking on the solid ground. Will she see how much she shows me the brighter way she's found? Grandmother's cupboard is never ever bare. Even when she's hungry, she'll find something for me there. She got a heart that cares with dreams and prayers, all waiting there inside. Oh, but nothing warms me like the sunshine I see in Grandma's eyes. Nothing warms me like the sunshine I see in my grandma's eyes.
Thank you, Colleen. You know, and in November at Thanksgiving time, we always think about going home for the holidays and of connecting at the place where we grew the roots and the wings that gave us the strength, the wisdom, and the self-confidence to spread our wings and fly. You know, it's the spark, the sunshine in our grandma's eyes is that feeling of that we remember when we think of home. And today my talk is about living everyday wonder, roots and wings. And I think we have a slide for that. Yeah, we do, but it'll come up. And so, but perhaps the cherished memories of childhood, of a familial home that's filled with our parents' unconditional love and acceptance, adventures with their siblings, maybe that's what comes to mind. But all of our holiday preparations, they strive to recreate that warm, loving, welcoming feeling in our present day holiday celebrations. So we have the Thanksgiving feast with a turkey, or, you know, for the vegetarian equivalent, I think somebody called it tofurkey or something. And it's surrounded with all the fixings. It epitomizes the happy celebration of a welcoming home, right? It also can trigger some things about why things aren't like that, you know, that gap. And so it's both sides of this that we're going to be talking about today. So there's a book called When Main Street Meets the River by Hodding Carter. He's a journalist. And he said, there are only two lasting bequests that we can hope to give our children, roots and wings. These can be grown, these roots and wings, only in the home. So when we think of that ideal home, we often envision a place where we feel safe and free to be exactly who we are, right? No pretense. We don't have to play small. We goof up and or screw up royal. And we're still loved, right? And in that safe environment, we are free to discover who we are. That's a trial and error process, right? And so we have to learn what works and who we are. I thought this, my daughter always wanted to be a marine biologist until she discovered design. And then there was and she wanted to design clothes, and then she wanted to design houses. And then she decided that, there's no money in that. It's really too competitive. And I think I'm going to go do fundraising like my dad did. And so she's still changing, but it's a process of discovering that we go on, right? And when we go on there, few of us were fortunate to grow up in that home where there was exactly that perfect response we needed every time, this perfect ideal home. And we all long for it, though, to have some roots, to have a familiar place where we belong. On our hero's journey, whether it was our first time leaving home or a starting point to wherever we're going to go next in life, because that happens many times, we come back to home. It's a place of starting and going. We talked about that last week in the hero's journey and how that happens. And so we're like a fledgling bird that's leaving the nest. We have to learn to survive on our own once we leave that home. And in an ideal home, an unconditional love, a sense of belonging and appropriate boundaries provide a safe place. And so we don't have to leave until we're ready. Or maybe we get pushed out if we're not leaving soon enough, but to explore, we get to explore the possibilities, right? And so some of our excursions into the external world of school or work, friendships, exciting new ideas, some of them are great successes and it's wonderful. And then some of them are not so successful, right? And so on one hand, we come home to celebrate with our family, and the other hand, we come back to commiserate, to say something, I love you unconditionally anyway. And even though we might be disappointed in ourselves, and the people at home might be disappointed too, but they still love us. They still help us to get on our feet and try again, right? And so in the ideal home, the parents and the family are there to support us in times of success and failure. They believe in us. They lovingly help us sort out who we are as an expression of that divine, infinite presence, right? That's who we are ultimately. Now, if we didn't have the gift of an ideal home, we can still create that loving home now and learn to cultivate our connection with the divine as our always present inner guide, our inner home, the place that we're always at home. Either way, once we're grounded in who we truly are, we are able to release the need to play small just to fit in, right? And this is what Brene Brown was talking about in the reading from this morning, is that we learn to be our true selves and belong. We learn to connect with that spirit within as our true home. And this gives us a sense of being loved, by the infinite. How much better does it get than that? Of being safe, of accepting ourselves and everyone as that perfect creation and expression of the divine infinite love. Ernest Holmes in the book, A Reader on Practical Wisdom, said, "We are all rooted in the one life. Your endeavor then is not so much to find out God as it is to realize God's presence already there and to understand that this presence is always with you in our heart of hearts, right? And so from our healthy roots then, we are able to be ourselves, spread our wings, and fly, right? And it's that grounding that really helps us. And a lot of the stuff I'm taking today is from this book, Braving the Wilderness, The Quest for True Belonging and the Courage to Stand Alone by Brene Brown. And she says, belonging is the innate human desire to be part of something larger than us. Because this yearning is so primal, we often try to acquire it by fitting in and by seeking approval, which are not only hollow substitutes for belonging, but are often barriers to it. Because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance, right? That's really important. In its ideal, Home is the place where we can be our authentic, imperfect selves and know we can be seen, loved, and accepted just the way we are. And I think several of us have gone through that this morning. But that's why we have this wonderful spiritual home, right? It's a place that we know where we feel known. Home at its best gives us this sense of rootedness, a feeling of familiarity, safe and belonging. And this stability established by that safety and belonging creates a launching pad, if you will, that will allow us to spread our wings and fly. We feel free to venture out, to try something that we might not be perfect at because we're doing it for the first time, and to be our authentic selves, right? Knowing home is always a safe place to land. We've got a place to come back to, right? True belonging, though, is when we learn to take our home with us, to be ourselves at the same time that we are out in the world. We take, it's that portable home that we pack up. They used to have church in a box, so we've got our true belonging home in the box. And it happens when we're clear on who we are as ourselves and, most importantly, as a part of the one, right? Brene Brown says, true belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. Now, this week, I have to say that I was very distracted with the election. And I was always checking and rechecking what the latest update was. And me with my numbers and stuff, I knew exactly what I was like a Steve Karnacki in person. And so, but I woke up early Monday and Tuesday, and I just knew that something good was going to happen. I mean, I've been waiting, and I made my donations, and I just knew it was going to be good. I've had this hope against hope, but I just felt some deep joy of something was going to be coming to the surface. Like it was almost like prayers from a primal scream level were being answered, right? And it just that faith of seeing that truth, spiritual truth underneath it all. And there was this deep inner peace, right? That things would unfold perfectly for that rule of law underneath all to return to the surface for one nation under God, the one God of all beings to appear again. And what happened? So Ernest Holmes, in Questions and Answers on the Science of Mind, he says, the kingdom of heaven is that place within ourselves where there is universal and individual peace at all times, peace that holds no doubt of our abiding good and wise divine protection. When we had that election this week, there was a lot of fears that there would be violence erupting and that the whole thing would just go under, right? And we'd all go under with it. But Americans voted to support democracy and freedom over separation, violent words, and violent action, right? We came back to ourselves, to who we are, to that divine idea of who we are as a country. And we want to follow the rules. We might disagree on the policies, but we agree on the foundation of a democracy, of a government that's for the people and by the people. Brene Brown, in her book, Braving the Wilderness, she said, belonging to ourselves, as described today, means being called to stand alone, to brave the wilderness of uncertainty and vulnerability and criticism. And with the world feeling like a political and ideological combat zone, this is remarkably tough. The politics, the gun violence, autocrats, refugees fleeing war, violence and famine, the climate change that increases the frequency and intensity of severe weather events, it all is, a lot of chaos seemingly going on, and then also even when, but Brene Brown says, we seem to have forgotten that even when we're connected to one another by something greater than group membership, politics, and ideology, that we're reconnected by love and the human spirit. No matter how separated we are by what we think and believe, we are part of the same spiritual story. So part of this means that when we disagree with someone, particularly someone that we love dearly, there is a place within oneness of unity for us to each be ourselves. There's a reason that what we are each here. And by having a conversation and remembering that we come from the one, we can stand on the same side and look out and find that, there's something that we didn't see. And then this is how we could come together. Or maybe it's that, your goal is to serve in this area and mine is to serve over here. And we need each other to have a complete community, right? We each have our own path. I think the skills of being a surgeon are very different than the skills to be a good artist, and very different than the skills to be a good childcare person or a mother, or even to be an 8-year-old boy. I mean, we're all different, and at different times in our life, we're all different. And so learning to be ourselves and not being apologetic about it, but also be willing to have that growing edge. When there's friction, that's part of it. There's this great book called the Missing Piece, and there's it's one of the Saul Silverman books, I think. Saul Silverman, yeah. And so this piece goes out and it's just all this roughness, and there's somebody missing, and so they run into all of this conflict. And then there's this edge gets rubbed off, all these rough edges, and it's just rolling, and it doesn't roll very well in the beginning. And so, but it keeps rolling and it hurts and it's rolling and then it finds that it's round eventually. All those rough edges have been ground off by the process, and they find wholeness within themselves, right? And that's part of it. So this process that we fight so much, sometimes it is what we need to turn a rough stone into a diamond, right? I grew up in Lutherville, Maryland until the 8th grade when we moved to Colorado. And Lutherville is a little town in Maryland. It's just a little over 50 miles from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, right? Now, the Battle of Gettysburg in the Civil War was fought on July 1st through 3rd, 3 days in 1863, just days before our nation's 87th birthday. And it was considered by many to be the turning point in the war. Right? Of the 50,000 casualties that day, during those 3 days, between the Union and the Confederate troops, about 8,000 were dead, about 11,000 were missing or lost in action, and the rest were wounded, which was a much more severe thing in 1863 than it is now. Right? Removal of the dead soldiers from this field, and I've been to this battlefield, and it looks like it's about the size of a big football field in the middle, surrounded by these beautiful old houses. That was the field. And they came in from different places. It was a little town where big soldiers and battles were coming in on all different sides, and they still find buttons and things like that in the middle of the field. But the removal of the dead soldiers from that field did not begin until October 17th, months later, 10 months later. And not all the dead had been buried when President Lincoln gave his speech on November 19th. Which is the anniversary is coming up. The first speaker was a well-received 2-hour oration by Edward Everett, a Unitarian pastor. I guess ministers tend to be long-winded, and who served as a congressman and senator from Massachusetts. But they appreciated it back then. There wasn't TV. And Abraham Lincoln was not feeling well that day, but he rose to the occasion because it was important to honor the cemetery and the people that had died. And so he gave his Gettysburg address. It only has 271 words. It's one of the shortest and yet most remembered speeches in our nation's history. And it's especially for those of us that live so close to Gettysburg and got to visit there so many times. When I was in the 6th grade, our school choir sang a musical version from memory. And so it's deeply ingrained in my memory and my heart, right? So I'd like to share it with you this morning, not the singing version, but the but the speech. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men and women are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on the great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor powers to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, which they who fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. And we did that this week, right? We stood up for what we believe in. So, what does home mean to you in that ideal sense? Is your home and your life a place where you feel safe and fully expressed? Yes? Why? Be grateful for what you have. If not, what can you do to create more emotional or physical safety for yourself and others, for your loved ones? You know, things come up during the holidays. There's a full moon, lunar eclipse, the election, all these things brought things up, and I was no exception. You know, for me, I'm going to be traveling south for Thanksgiving with my husband to see some of our 8 children and grandchildren that we haven't seen for 2 or 3 years, some of them. And some reunions will be easy and joyful, and others will be difficult and require reconciliation, if that's even possible. But that's what's important. That is what it feels like to be in integrity, to be me, to live by my values, to rely on those roots and wings that I grew up with, that I have grown over a lifetime of in a family that was loving, and in this teaching, where we stand for loving all people, including all people, loving all people just as they are. And even when things are good, and even when things are stressful, we are in it together, right? We have to trust that spirit is in the room. There is no separation in reality, only in our perception. And so I'm going to show up and I'm going to give spirit a chance, and we'll see what happens, right? Let's take this to prayer. And so, knowing that there is only one, that there is no separation, that each and every one of us is a part of this one, the infinite invisible, the infinite love, the infinite peace, that is the truth of the universe and of me and of each person here and of each person in my family and in this country and in the world. We are all one. We come from that same source. There is no conflict. That is not a part of our growing out. There is only this unity within the diversity. And so as we allow ourselves to recognize this, to remember it, as we go within our being, we learn to live from the inside out and observe, be witnesses to what is going on, and not react, but respond with love and understanding and compassion, and know that we are here to love and support each other, to lift each other up, to live as one. That every act is either an act of love or a call for love. And so we learn to open our arms and welcome. We open our minds to growing. We open our minds to see a greater picture and go beyond our little experience to see with that infinite love and understanding. We open our hearts to each other, to a greater yet to be in our own lives, in our families, in our spiritual community, in our nation, in the world, indeed in the universe. This is the truth of who we are. We are infinite love in form, expressing itself as us in every way. And so we let go and let God be this truth. It is with great gratitude that we feel the joy of being alive. It is with gratitude that we celebrate Thanksgiving for all the good that is in our lives, for all the barriers that have been removed so we can see that good and experience it and know that we are full to overflowing with love and prosperity, wisdom and peace, and we share it. And as we do, the world is healed, it is whole, it is perfect and complete, just as it is right here and right now. We bless everyone in every way, and it is good. And so we let it be. So I'd like to welcome Colleen up for another song. And, you know, when you have those good roots and reliable wings, you can venture out into the hero or the heroine's journey to that almost land where you don't know quite what's going to happen.
This song's a little difficult. It's about my inner hero's journey, I guess. Thank you, Reverend Pam, for those powerful words. You know, there's so much truth in what you just shared. And I hope that we're able to do what we need to do to make that journey from our head to our heart, to where when we hear something that's true, even if it's cutting and rubbing off the rough edges, that our heart is always assuring us that it's okay. We might as well avail ourselves of all that Creator has blessed us with for this journey. So in this song is, I guess it's about the middle of the song that I make reference to the promised land. It is that place where we can fully embrace with our whole being what is true and all is well. And we know that. In the almost land, I am brave and wise and beautiful. I almost feel what I believe, that the soul I see inside is me. Now my longing is unleashed like a hungry storm, raising mountains from a starving sea, while I sit alone and write inside a palace safe and warm in the almost land. I almost understand what flows here from my hand. In the almost land, the missile from behind struck close. I felt its power rushing by. The impact burst all reasoning. Why? Anger goes unleashed in nightmare fear against the shield that is me, who soon becomes a cradling heart for doubts to be held near in the almost land. I almost understand the life within my hands. In the almost land, will I like Moses stand? Almost in that promised land. Oh, that promised land. In the almost land, my years all gather round me with stories of what could have been, as if they are my secret friends. And my sorrow is released in wordless heaves. I wail above their whispers and drown their damning rebel force until I am free in the almost land. I start to understand the love at my command. The love at my command. In the almost land, I am brave and wise and beautiful. Now my heart has learned to see the soul I love so much is me. In the almost land, I finally understand. I'm in that promised land. In the almost land, filled with grace, I stand firmly on, fully in that promised land. Home in the promised land of the almost land.
Thank you, Colleen. Well, Colleen is part of our next thing that we're going to be doing today. And one of the best things that we do in our center is welcoming new members. And so one of the most satisfying human experiences is in our path towards self-unfoldment is becoming a member of a place that we feel that we are a part of. It's from that place where we make it possible for the divine mind and the divine potential to express in, through, and as us. And so I'd like to call forward Colleen Akiko and Chris Worster. Oh, and Lila, she's an honorary member. Yeah. Okay. So, Colleen and Chris, you have chosen to unify yourselves with highest purpose and divine love by becoming a member of this center. And within the center moves the spirit of the center, right? This is not a center and its members. There is a center as its members. The body of the center is composed of individuals who are its hands, its feet, its head, and its heart. Each person is a whole, perfect, and complete expression of the presence of God and of divine mind. By unifying our awareness and our experience, we attune ourselves to the power, the life, and the love of our center. Science of mind is the study of how one deliberately cooperates with the divine nature. It is a philosophy, a faith, and more importantly, a way of life. It is a teaching of principles for daily living by which life is elevated to the level of pure joy and contentment. This ministry is a ministry of healing whose purpose is to heal all sense of separation and to bring all to the knowledge of the wholeness of spirit within. So if we all, let's see, how am I going to do this? Okay, we're going to join here. And so at this moment, you are unifying with one another and with all members of the centers of spiritual living throughout the world in a warm, loving fellowship in spirit. By choosing to join the ministry of this center in thought, word, purpose, and action, you have become important in a unique way to one another, already are, and to all humanity, becoming an influence of good in the lives of all you meet. Through your adherence to and practice of the spirit principles of science of mind, you become a vital factor in the awakening of humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And also, science of mind is one of the teachings of all of the different, we're inclusive of all of these different pathways to God that you two are both very versed in. So as I know from experience and knowing you. So I want to present to you now Penny Scholler, who is president of the Board of Trustees.
We honor you for choosing to become a member of the Center
Oh,
for
here's something. Wait,
Spiritual
you need,
Living, Tahoe-Truckee, whose commitment is embracing all, serving with love while awakening to the one, and to uphold the principles and practices of science of mind and daily living, as they are outlined in the statement of our Declaration of Principles, which is also known as What We Believe. Congregation, please stand. Do they have them?
no, they don't have
Oh, okay.
Just stand there and look good. Right, feels like.
I know, me too. We used to read them every Sunday.
Oh, right.
We should do it once a month.
Yeah, that'd be good. Mhm. Okay, we're getting well read.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Oh, mine's in color.
Oh, good. Oh, you can have that.
Mhm.
Okay, all together. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of spirit in us, and that all people are individuations of one spirit. We believe in the internality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and forever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to complete freedom, all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through the universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which reveals the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness to life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand the life of all is God. So, do each of you agree to honor these principles and to support the consciousness of this ministry and upholding them to the best of your ability?
I do.
Did you break the ring? I know, really. This is also an opportunity for all of us to join together as we renew our commitment to the center. Will each of you as members of this Center for Spiritual Living join me as we agree to continue to honor these principles and support the consciousness of this ministry to the best of our ability?
I will.
You're up.
Thank you, Penny. So you may be seated. Thank you.
There is
Likewise.
Yeah.
So congratulations
Oh,
Thank you. On your membership in the Center for Spiritual Living.
hooray.
And so while each of you has publicly committed to uphold the principles, remember that your highest obligation is to yourself and to the fulfillment of the purpose and meaning of membership that you will hold in the privacy of your own heart. I know that each of you is in your own special way is a unique child of the universal mind, and that you stand here ready to share your gifts by helping your new spiritual community to grow in love, peace, and prosperity. At this time, it's our privilege to, to give you your first gift, and it's also not here. This is another Murphy's Law, and so there's something coming.
Wow.
So,
I'll hold my breath.
He's right around
right.
Thank you.
So,
We love you all.
so welcome. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you. And Lila needs a hug too. There you go. There you go, Lila. Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay. There's some music. Oh, we have one song. Actually, we have one song to play before you sit down. It's on the recording. Oh, no, that's at the end. Yeah, we're not there yet, but we'll get there. Okay. So this is we're just going to sing the chorus of this song. And many of you might have heard Michael Gott sing it. He's going to sing it for us today. But if you would all stand, and we will bless these two new members.
Amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things.
long and so yes, Lila, thank welcome. Yes, I know. Yes, yes, yes. This yeah, you didn't get to be on stage. Okay. Say hello. All right. Thank you, Lila. All right. So this is our So if this is our prosperity time, and at CSL Tahoe-Truckee, we know that God is our infinite source, that for our center and for each of us as individuals, blesses us with the wonderful infinite prosperity that supports us in every way, from within and from without. And so your donations are one way that it support our center. And so if you would hold your offering over your hand and read our prosperity. Oh, your hand. Thank you. Trying to rush things. And then, but we want to say the prosperity affirmation. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All I share with life returns to me, blessed and multiplied. All right.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
For these gifts that have been so generously and lovingly given to our center, and bless them on their way to all that they will do to support that flow and love and expression of that divine inform. It is all God and it is God all good. And we say thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is, and so we let it be. All right. So we have, if there are any guests online, please give us your name in chat, or you can go on the website and sign up for our newsletter. We're really glad to have you here. I have some quick thank yous this morning. Michael Brandman for stepping in to do our Zoom and at the last minute. And then also Practitioner, Carol Dalbon, dealing with the, dealing with Murphy's Law very well. And our musician, and I actually just have to say that the brownie points this today go to Colleen and Chris and Jim Eaglesmith for getting up really early and braving the ice over the Highway 50 as they came up here and made their way to see us this morning. So, and to be a part of the Heart Math that's happening later. So thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank Shirley Nelson for hospitality and having some great goodies there. I think understand that they're gluten-free. So feel comfortable to if that's your, Oh, you did the gluten-free? No, Shirley did. You did? Oh, well, whatever it is, it's good. And so, and so we have time for announcements. It's late, so we're going to go through these really quick. We have hospitality afterwards. So if you're on Zoom, you can stay online if you're still there. We have Heart Math. Yeah, here we go. This is at 12:30, so we'll have some time to make sure you have time to eat. And Jim, people need to download the app on their phone or their computer if they've got it with them. If you want to be a part of that today, how many people are planning to stay for that? So we've got, okay. All right. So that's, and it's Heart Math. Did I say that wrong too? Yeah, Inner Balance app. So you go on either onto your Apple Store or Google Play, and then you can download it, and it's pretty quick. We have good internet here. Yeah, it's not that, it's inner balance, but then you get to work with the equipment and you'll have it right on your phone, and you can see, see how it works for you. And it's just fabulous. Learning to bring your head and your heart into coherence. I mean, it's something that you can measure, like your blood pressure you can measure. Well, you can measure your coherence, and meditation works. So we'll see that next week, November 20th. I'll be speaking on home. This is part of our series on the hero's journey. Practitioner will be Michael Brandman, and musician will be Rod Lewis. Also, after service, this is our annual Thanksgiving potluck feast. So sign up in the hospitality, so we know that we don't have 20 pies and no salad. So, but it's going to be perfect, whatever it is. I know. On the 27th, the weekend after, Michael and I are going to be down south. And so Angelica Schaefer is coming to be both our guest musician and speaker. And her talk will be entitled A Case of Mistaken Identity. So I'm going to have to watch that recording. That should be great. And Brenda will be our practitioner of that day. There's lots of holiday related events in November and October. So check on our website to see all of the details, or in our newsletter. You can listen to the recordings there as well. The Red Tent is happening on November 21st this month. The women's group gathering, that's on a Monday night. So call Jackie to confirm that you're going to be there. Make sure you have the right location. Another wonderful event, the North Tahoe Community Choir, directed by Donna Axton, is giving their winter concert on December 1st and 3rd at St. Patrick's Church in Incline. And you can buy discounted tickets here. And we have them here available. So if you want to go, please see me, and we'll let you purchase those. December 18th is the annual party and White Elephant gift exchange, but a good time to be together with friends that Sunday night. And then Friday night, December 23rd, is our annual candlelight service. And so it also at 5, there will be no service on Christmas Day, the 25th, or on New Year's Day, but we're going to have the World Healing Meditation on December 31st at 4 a.m., which is noon Greenwich time, along with millions of people around the world. So we'll be a part of that here. And so, yeah, you can join on your jammies if you want at home, or we can all come here and have some breakfast afterwards, either way. We have our ongoing classes that you can drop in by Zoom that are always going on each week. And we have wonderful children that we're blessing right here and now. But there's lots going on to support you. And also the practitioners, if you do need prayer, if there's some of that holiday stuff is coming up for you, please see one of our practitioners today. So we have Michael Brandman in the back, Carol Dalbon's online, Brenda Haldoran is here, and Nancy O'Neill. So, and I'm also a practitioner. So if you would like prayer, we're here for you. All right. So if you would then all stand, we're going to sing our final song, and the love be with you. And then we'll have our affirmation. And we'll just stay where we are, I think. Yeah, but you can hold hands if you like. All right.
All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free. Share this blessing. Love be with you. Peace enfold you. Spirit lift you. Breathe it in. Truth come through you. Make good flow to you. Let joy renew you till we meet again. All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free. Share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathing in. Truth come through you, make good flow to you, let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you.
Bring out the best in us. And so it is. Okay. Yeah, they go up here. They go up here. Yeah.